Hello, adventurer. It's good to see you. You have made it to the morning grind.
Welcome, welcome.
It's the live stream at the beginning of the Geekverse, where we talk about all types of topics in geekdom, gaming, and fantasy, with an emphasis on being constructive and creating the things that we want to exist in the world.
It's all on the grind, Sizemore. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
That's exactly right. There are a lot of adventures to be had today. Dungeons to explore and monsters to slay, and who knows what a random encounter might send our way. That's why we have to prepare, so settle in now for the morning grind with your favorite beverage in hand.
Tea? Or maybe something a little stronger. I've got a few bottles of the old Wynyard left.
Whatever you want. Pull up a chair.
Dude.
If you're feeling fancy, how about a cappuccino? Or a frappuccino? Or how about an espresso?
Just tea, thank you.
Sounds good to me, Gandalf. Whatever you want. I'm just glad you're here.
Everyone is welcome. You can just watch if you want. You don't have to worship anything you don't want to worship.
Thank you, Mike. But be forewarned.
Sometimes we get really strange characters around here.
Wait, what's that you say? Why can't you come and be a part of the stream?
My wife would disown me.
Oh no, I bet she'll be fine with it. Come on in.
Am I scared for my safety? No.
What are we supposed to do?
Everybody do the secret handshake.
Secret cultist handshake.
Oh, now do wizards who love each other.
It's my friend is a science.
I still don't have gifts, but it's fine.
It's all on the grind, son. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
Dude, this would be a sick place to bring the band.
Indeed it would be, Dave. It really would. I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome, glad to have you here. Oh look, here's someone new.
Is this the cultist meetup?
Yes it is.
Come to hang out? Please accept me. I have nothing else.
Okay, we accept you. Everyone's welcome here.
Brought some snacks.
Well, that makes things even better.
You want some coffee?
I don't drink coffee.
You sure? It's cultist coffee.
What makes it cultist coffee?
I'm a cultist and I'm drinking it.
Oh. Then I'll have some.
What exactly is going on here?
I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome. It's so great to have you. Oh, and look, here comes another stranger.
Can we help you?
Yes, fellow cultists. I could really use some food.
Oh yeah? Welcome. We have donuts.
Oh, it's me. I'm glad I'm here. I'm sure you have a few questions for me, though.
What's your name? Who do you work for? What god do you worship?
Great questions, Rob.
I'm Steve King, and I worship Nyarlathotep.
No, not really. I'm just Heath, and I won't be worshiping anything this morning. But I will be your host. Welcome to the office. We're going to have a great time. I've got my coffee ready, because now it's time for the morning grind.
If you could become a fish, that would be amazing. Then I could command you with my mental fish powers.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning to January. Good morning. Welcome to January 2nd. We are kicking off the new year right. Welcome to my home. Welcome to the office. Welcome to the morning grind. It is so good to see you. I hope everybody had a great New Year's Day yesterday. That was a holiday. So now I'm really getting down to work. Was up this morning working on the Cultist RPG for about 2.5 hours before I got started this morning. So I've been up getting this started right and trying to do, let's see, we need like 14 days worth of really intense work to get this all started off with. So we're gonna try to make this happen here. So hopefully you are also going to try to make 2024 big. 2024 has got to be big. This has really got to be my year here. We've got to get things underway in a big way, and hopefully you can too. I've even got coffee this morning, although it is going a bit cold already. All right, let's see. So welcome, BGD. Welcome. We got James here. Good morning. Good to see everybody. All right, we're going to do an unboxing today. This is our main subject is this. I've had this over on the shelf for a while, and I didn't wasn't clear on what it was because this is okay. It is an expansion to Gloomhaven, but I was looking at something called like Jaws of the Lion or something, and I saw it at Target actually, and naively I thought that that's what I had on my shelf because I've had this, but I haven't gotten deep into Gloomhaven, and yet personally, I would love to. Maybe that's something we could do in the coffee shop later. And so I thought this was the box that I had, but no, that's something completely different. I'm gonna have to look at that. That's a completely standalone game. This is an expansion, but it's still in its shrink wrap. So we're going to open that up today and take a look at what this expansion actually is and what's inside. Because I don't know. So tonight, Doug is going to be here and Retro Nerd Girl talking about Terminator 2. That's over on the Table Talk channel. Here's the direct link. T2 Table Talk. Retro Nerd Girl will be here a bit late. So Doug and I are going to get things started off, and then Retro's coming in. So we're going to be talking about Terminator 2 tonight on the Table Talk channel. It's going to be a lot of fun. I hope to see you there. And then also, I've still got to get a dedicated website up. I'm still working on that. But if you want to be part of the Gaming Tavern, if you want to play games with us online, I do have this forum right here. Coffee shop, gaming coffee shop. Click that link, and that's a place to let me know that you are interested. I was thinking about the gaming coffee shop, well, a lot over the past few days. We got Hero Quest ready to go. We got One Night Werewolf ready to go. I think we need a couple of other types of games. I think to begin with, a lot of people, will want to play Hero Quest and get started with Hero Quest. But it would be great to have an RPG. I want to see about integrating. I was just BGD had messaged me about this. So I want to look into seeing if it's easy to integrate the index card RPG, because that would be great to not have something that you have to build. I have to build out because it would already be built out. To have an RPG in there. And then I was also thinking about some type of strategy game. Oh, and I put it over there. But Wizard's Quest, maybe. That's an old school classic game over there. Is everything blacked out? I hope not. It's looking right to me. But Wizard's Quest is a classic kind of tabletop strategy game that also doesn't have just a tremendous number of components. I opened it up and I was like, oh, well, this one would actually kind of be pretty easy to build in, because I'm used to, hey, it's time to build out a new game. And that means that I've got to scan 5,000 little cardboard pieces or something. But actually, not all games are like that. Not all games are like that. So something like that could be good. So I'm working on that. I'm trying to bring that online pretty soon. My major projects right now are I'm still trying to wrap up a few things with the Trial of St. Gabriel. Oh, I saw that my new proof shipped. So my new proof is incoming from the printer. So that's coming in. Hopefully it'll be right. So I'm still trying to finish up a few things, get the fulfillment finished with the Trial of St. Gabriel. Then I'm trying to get this coffee shop off the ground, because I still think this would be a great thing to, a great way for people to play all kinds of games with each other. I think what we'll need to do is we'll need to do like a test, basically like a session 0 for the coffee shop. Have everybody in for like a couple of hours, actually not everybody, a limited number of people, not everybody, but a limited number of people who want to do like a beta test of the entire coffee shop to play some of the different games. That's why I was trying to get a few more built up. Oh, Dragon Strike 2. I was working last night actually on continuing to build out Dragon Strike. So Dragon Strike is good because it's every game is one off. It's very similar to Hero Quest, obviously. But they are different, and so it's the same style of game. But Hero Quest, it's at least kind of tacitly thinking that you're going to be doing, a series, and you're going to be maintaining a character and so forth. But if you're not maintaining a character, Dragon Strike is just every game is one off. You always start kind of fresh, or you always start completely fresh in a game of Dragon Strike. And so it will be there. I think having a strategy game, where you're commanding armies like Wizard's Quest would be good. And I still would also like to build out Secret Hitler. Secret Hitler and One Night Werewolf are the same kind of style of game as well. But One Night Werewolf, like you play that, like a game of One Night Werewolf takes 6 minutes. So it's very short. Now, it takes a bit longer. Like, what's the time on Secret Hitler? 30 minutes to an hour? Maybe a little bit longer than that, hour 15, something like that. So they're the same style, but one of them requires a bit more investment. The other one you can play rapid fire. So getting a bit of a selection of games ready to go. And who knows, so we'll just see. Thank you, BGD. Please do hit the like. So anyway, that's what's going on here. And then I'm going to, I'm still trying to launch the Cultists, relaunch the Cultists with its games. So that's why I was working on the Cultist RPG, which will ultimately go over to the coffee shop as well. But I want to get some other things going up there that are already designed while I work on game design. And then relaunch the Cultists with its own game and its web series on the Cultists channel. So that's my order of operations, kind of, that I am trying to get done and get out and be focusing on a lot here in the next 2 weeks. So, trying to make things happen here. All right, let's go over and do our reading this morning. Before we open up a box, I'm excited about this. I like doing the unboxings here. Unboxings are fun. Everybody got your coffee this morning? Or whatever it is that you're drinking. I got Cultist coffee. The Cultist coffee mug, right? It's a good way to start off 2024. All right, let's take 2 deep breaths. Deep inhales, complete exhales, and then take a sip of your favorite beverage this morning. This is your time to just take a few seconds and reflect and get yourself straight and oriented for the rest of the day. So here we go. Let's breathe. And sip. There we go. All right, so what does Stephen Pressfield tell us this morning? He says, the amateur is asleep. The force that can save the amateur is awareness, particularly self-awareness. But the amateur understands, however dimly, that if she truly achieved this knowledge, she would be compelled to act upon it. To act upon this self-awareness would mean defining herself, i.e. differentiating herself from the tribe and thus making herself vulnerable to rejection, expulsion, and all the other fears that self-definition elicits. Fear of self-definition is what keeps the amateur or what keeps the amateur an amateur, and what keeps the addict an addict. Fear of self-definition. The tribe doesn't give a shit. The amateur dreads becoming who she really is because she fears this new person will be judged by others as different. The tribe would declare us as weird or queer or crazy. The tribe will reject us. Here's the truth. The tribe doesn't give a shit. There is no tribe. The gang or posse that we imagine is sustaining us by the bonds we share is in fact a conglomeration of individuals who are just as fucked up as we are and just as terrified. Each individual is so caught up in his own bullshit that he doesn't have 2 seconds to worry about yours or mine, or to reject or diminish us because of it. When we truly understand the tribe doesn't give a damn, we're free. There is no tribe and there never was. Our lives are entirely up to us. That's a good message for starting out 2024 with. Our lives are up to us. We are free. All right. So let me get the auxiliary light going so we can do our unboxing. Sable says, preach it, Pressfield. I agree. And let me get go auxiliary camera. Good morning, Yogg-Sothoth. This is the best. This is the best. Oh, I got something on it already. I'll have to clean it. This is because this is the best mat for the auxiliary camera. All right. Stick that over there. And here we got Gloomhaven. Does anybody have this? So this is not standalone. This is not standalone. Now I'm curious about that Lion game because it is standalone. I was checking that out on Amazon this morning, as I was like, wait a minute, just I need to be clear on what I was looking at. So, which makes sense. That makes sense. The Lion thing is a standalone game. Maybe we'll have to get that someday because it was available in Target. Whereas this is an expansion. I want to say I picked this up at Gen Con. Has anybody been through all of Gloomhaven? Is this like high fantasy Gloomhaven? I don't know. All right, let's take a look at the back and let's see what it says. Gloomhaven, Forgotten Circles. Memories of the past are the key to our future. A mysterious diviner brings dark portents and terrifying new foes. Join her in a 20-scenario quest to explore the history of Gloomhaven and present a looming catastrophe, or enlist the diviner's help in pursuing your own quests. This expansion to Gloomhaven includes a 68-page scenario book with over 20 dynamic adventures, a challenging new playable class, the Esther Diviner. 7 new monster types, including 3 powerful bosses. New locations, new items, new road events, new city events, new rift events, new unlockable envelopes. Forgotten Circles is an expansion and not a complete game. It requires Gloomhaven to play, not Frosthaven. No, original Gloomhaven. No. No, original Gloomhaven is also fantasy. It's fantasy. Now it doesn't have any. It doesn't have like the classic orcs and goblins and elves and all of that in it. It's completely own world. I don't know whether you call it. I don't know. Do you call it a high fantasy or low fantasy? I kind of thought you were wondering. Were you contrasting kind of low fantasy with high fantasy? I've only played Gloomhaven. No, I played it more than once. I probably played 2 or 3 times. But it's been a while. James says, I've never played Gloomhaven, but I appreciate it for having kickstarted legacy mechanics and board games. It maybe didn't invent the concept, but it sure popularized it. Yes. Oh, Zero the Blade says, good morning, everyone. Buying things for the new house. So, Frosthaven is also fantasy. We did an unboxing of Frosthaven here. Yeah, it can. That's why it would be great to have that as something that could integrate into the coffee shop, because I'm sure there are also people who would like to play Gloomhaven. I would. All right, so this says 1 to 4 players. This says 30 minutes per player. 1 to 4 players. So this does down here. This does say 1 to 4 players, 30 minutes per player, ages 14 plus. Now, Zombicide, the original Zombicide is modern day. The original Zombicide is. And I have played that, but I like to play Black Plague. Zombicide Black Plague. And Zombicide Black Plague is medieval fantasy. But the original Zombicide is modern day. Yes. Gloomhaven, Forgotten Circles. Rulebook and scenario guide. All right, that's number 1. Forgotten Circles, maps, map locations. So here are the stickers like we were talking about, like what, hey, good morning, Robert. Good morning. Like what James was talking about. So these stickers, I guess they go on the original Gloomhaven board then. I don't think it's another board. But these are new locations for Gloomhaven. I like that too. And also, like these enhancements, this is one of our new rules I just saw as I opened that up. This hand right here. So that you actually put stickers on cards. I like that. So that as you increase your power or whatever else, you actually can change up your particular cards by putting stickers on them. Now, some people are like, oh my God, I never put stickers on a card. But you just play it, people. Just play it. And then, I mean, because there's plenty of game to be played inside of this. And if you really needed another one, well, I mean, if you play all the way through Gloomhaven, use it. Enjoy it. Play all the way through Gloomhaven. If you're done with that, then pick up the expansion box and play all the way through that. And if you're done with that, go play Frosthaven. And then if you still need to start over again, then hey, you could get a new box of Gloomhaven. Gloomhaven is a more narrative-dependent type of hero quest style game, I thought. Yeah, it is. So Gloomhaven, I mean, you're a party of heroes, right? It's cooperative. Gloomhaven is cooperative. Hero Quest, of course, has Zargon. Now there's the Zargon app. But Gloomhaven is a cooperative adventure game where you're a party of heroes. It's going into a different kind of dungeon or scenario or whatever else. So yes, that same kind of thing. But it's much more complex. There's a lot more to Gloomhaven than there is to Hero Quest. Zombicide is also cooperative. You're also a party of heroes. Like I'm thinking of Zombicide Black Plague. You're also a party of heroes inside Zombicide, and it's also cooperative. But Zombicide, yeah, you were trying. I mean, you have different objectives you're trying to accomplish in different quests, of course. But yeah, you're trying to survive from the zombie horde. I love Zombicide Black Plague. So we got achievement sticker overlay, upper right corner of board with new achievement stickers. All right, new standees. Gloomhaven has a lot of standees. And my brother and his wife went all the way through it. Like if I had a girlfriend, one of the requirements for a girlfriend would have to be, or girlfriend or wife would have to be that she would have to play board games with me. My brother and his wife play cooperative board games quite a bit, and they went all the way through Gloomhaven. I'm not sure if they went all the way through Frosthaven or not. They kept saying that I should come over and play Frosthaven with them, but we haven't been able to arrange that yet. It's been a while. But let me grab this over here. My sister-in-law went and found, got junk on this. I told you I need to clean. Maybe I should dust sometime. My sister-in-law went and found exactly what, like tackle boxes. This is the Plano tackle box. She went to, I don't know, one of the big box sports stores, and figured out exactly with the tokens, the Gloomhaven tokens, the original Gloomhaven tokens, and figured out exactly what tackle box was perfect for organizing Gloomhaven. And so she told me which ones they were. So I started to organize my Gloomhaven in the tackle box manner as well. So like that. And this, because you're right, like getting things set up, like I've got the gaming room, so I could just leave it set up, but the problem is I don't live in a place where people can easily get to. Otherwise, I'd be hosting games. That's a disadvantage of living out in the country. I set up the nice gaming room, but it's inconvenient for people to get here. I need to be living like 10 minutes away from people. It does help organize if you use the tackle box method. That's what they used in order to set up, organize themselves. And there is a Gloomhaven box organizer that's done by Broken Token. And David got that. I remember when David got that. It was like, because he got Gloomhaven, wanted to get into it. I don't know that we never got to play it. I don't know if he's played or not, but he was like, oh my God, look at all this stuff in Gloomhaven. I'm going to get the organizer. So then he went to Broken Token and got the organizer, and then he opened up the organizer, and the organizer is also just in tons of pieces. I mean, you have to assemble the organizer. It's all cut out of, the laser cut wood, and you punch those out, and you got to get a bottle of glue. And he said, I sat down, like, what do you want to sit down and do? I want to sit down and like assemble and organize my Gloomhaven game. Oh no, actually, I need to make an organizer for this. Okay, so actually what I'm going to do is sit down and organize and put together and assemble my organizer. So even assembling the organizer by Broken Token is no small feat, but I think the tackle box method is better. James says that's a great storage system, looks like beating tackle. Looks like a beating tackle? I'm not sure what that is. Maybe it is. Also, like I got someplace I like this little one right here. I thought this one had my like meeples in it, because I like this little one right here for organizing meeples or other just tokens for RPGs. It's a really nice little thing to throw in a backpack or something to organize, because I like physical tokens even during RPGs. So this one's a good size to organize meeples for whatever, even like counters for Magic the Gathering or whatever. Anytime you need some type of token or counter, having that with you is really nice. Hey, Mike. Good morning, Mike. James says, dude, that's why you date, to find one that likes to play games for 2 to X people. And you have kids to get you end up having kids for 3 to X and 4 to X players. Yes, you make your own players, right? Making new players. They're even fun to make, right? Maybe so. That's what my brother and his wife did. So they made themselves some new players. So I get to go over and play Hero Quest with them. So anyway, standees now organized. That got us off on the organization side of things because Gloomhaven does have lots of standees instead of miniatures. The heroes are miniatures. Like there's our new miniature. The heroes are miniatures, but most of the bad guys, all the bad guys are stand-ups. Double-sided. So stand up. Here are the standee stands. And they're different colors because I don't think they call them master monster, but it might be a champion or something like that. So you've got ordinary monsters and then champion tokens as well. All right, so this is one of your secret envelopes, so we're not going to open that up. So that's envelope, looks like E, but it's got a sticker on it, so that's for part of the story. You open that up. I think what I really want is a game that's someplace between Hero Quest and this. I mean, this is fantastic. And also Hero Quest is fantastic, but I'm always looking for something a little bit in the middle. So this one is also sealed. So when you get Gloomhaven, don't open things up until you are told to by the scenarios. So whatever is inside that box, also sealed. Okay, these are the bad guy card envelopes and bad guy cards right there. New cards. I'm not sure what this. Halt. This is the back of the deck. In order to avoid potential spoilers, do not remove this card. Oh, okay. Well, then I will not. So I'm not sure what that is. It might tell us in this. But also in Gloomhaven and Mansions of Madness, I learned not to instinctively shuffle cards. Like sometimes you pick up a deck of cards and then you shuffle the deck of cards and like, all right, so what do you need to do before you play a game? Take these decks of cards and shuffle them. Oh, that's not the case. Don't do that because these decks, some games have decks of cards that are organized in a very specific way. And that includes Gloomhaven and Mansions of Madness. So if you need to find a certain card, the cards are numbered in certain ways, and then it's easier to find as a result. So I'll show you, though, here. So this is, I don't remember. Like I said, I've only played 2 or 3 times, but I kind of remember. Gloomhaven has a great way of doing a lot of things. But one of the things that it does is it has a great way of adjusting the difficulty based on the number of players because it's cooperative and you can have multiple players, which I also like. I think that's a critically important part of these games today. Like Hero Quest, it doesn't have any type of great way to determine difficulty or quest level or adjust for different numbers of heroes. It's got the solo quest, and then I guess everything else assumes that you're heroes and no real way for heroes and no real way of determining how powerful they are. But I think a game like this, hey, if you sit down with one, you can sit down with one person, this says, or 2 people and play a game and then scale the game for 2 people and continue. So they do that. I believe somebody check me on this. So like this right here, this is the Valreth Commander, this particular bad guy. And I believe, it says 0 right here. 0, 1, 2, 3. I believe that's like the strength of the bad guy, right? And so that's what allows me to scale the game based on the number of players. So and then the bad guy's cards go in the envelope just like this. So now if I'm on like level 1 Valorant Commander, if this is the person that's in the game, then these are the stats that he's got. I don't remember all these codes and such. These are the different, like, basically conditions that can happen to you over here. And I guess maybe what happens when it wounds you. I guess that's move. Maybe that's attack power, or a melee attack power, ranged attack power, or ranged distance. I'm not sure. It might be ranged attack power. And then also the number of wounds. But then what is this down here? They also have a great way of tracking the damage and also conditions of the different characters. So like this is Valwrath Commander. Oh, so this is probably not just a minion, but an actual, like, well, commander for this. But here is this character. So that's not a bad example since it's just one. Let's look for, like, we got tons of these. Looks like ghost things or spirit elves or something like that. Let's see. Okay, Aster Ashblade. Okay, so this one isn't as complicated. I guess the other card looked rather complicated because that was a commander, whereas this is more like a minion. So now let's say we're playing on like level 1, I guess. So we slide this in there, and now we've got all of the stats. Maybe damage, speed, melee attack power. This one doesn't have any range. And then also maybe it poisons you or something. But then now we know that we'll be playing with these Asher Ashblades. And then each one of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. Why does that one also say 4? Oh, no, they're slightly different. Oh, it's so we're looking at these guys right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. There can be 4 of them here. And then in order to track the damage that goes on each one, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you've got 2 out on the board or 3 out on the board or 4, they've all got this particular statistic that is showing based on its on the level of the game you're playing for its difficulty and the number of players you're using. And then if they're like something takes wounds or becomes incapacitated or has all these different conditions applied, you drop the token onto that side of the envelope. And that's how you track, okay, number 1 has got 4 wounds and is disarmed or something like that. I don't know. And you put that on there, and that's how you track that. So that's a neat mechanic here. Oh, we got backs too. Valwrath Savage, Valwrath Tracker, Manifestation of Corruption, Human Commander, Wraith Commander, Aether Scout. So that's what you do with those. James says, I love legacy board games. Pandemic has an incredible legacy version. It's very fun and deadly. I have never played the regular Pandemic. Now, I played Cthulhu Pandemic called Reign of Cthulhu, which is a difficult game. I think I mentioned that because we played that on New Year's Eve. That's a difficult game. That one might be fun to build out for the coffee shop. Because I do enjoy it. It requires a lot of thinking, though. It's a cooperative game. It's not legacy, though. Sable says, I wonder how many people just ignore all of that and see all the spoilers. I don't know. I don't know. If you go to all the trouble of buying this game, then I bet a lot of people don't spoil it for themselves, because that would be you robbing yourself. And so the people who get this kind of game, I bet a lot of them don't. James says, yeah, Pandemic actually has stickers for the rule book that develops the rules as other legacy mechanics are revealed. So it actually affects every game moving forward in the future. Super fun. Huh. I didn't know that. It's tough. Like, it's tough. All right. So we got new bad guys here. Bad guy card sleeves. Where'd my other sleeve go? Oh, maybe I set it in here. Oh, I put it in there. Okay. So anyway, both of those. So this right here is your character. If you take a character and you're playing a new character, so this says it came with 1 new character. Now, some people don't even open these boxes. Like when you take a character, you're not supposed to know all of the stuff that your character does. I'm going to open this to see what the miniature is. So this is your miniature. So if you really don't want to see what the miniature is, don't look. But the heroes are miniatures. Oh, there we go. So there is our hero. Whoop, our hero miniature. Can we get this to focus? Maybe not. Anyway, she looks good. She's kind of a hunched down magic user looking. Oh, there we go. So that's the kind of sculpts you get for the Gloomhaven miniatures. But you're just supposed to take one of the boxes, and there's several of these sets in Gloomhaven and Frosthaven where you get a miniature and then you get your character as well. I'm going to open this just to show you. So if you're interested in the kinds of stuff that you get, see, there's all kinds of stuff in there for your character. So when you pick a character, you take all of this stuff. And so the character itself, I'm not going to open everything, but you get your character sheet right here. So this focus, there we go. This gives you the character sheet for name and level. So you do level up characters in this. XP notes, gold notes, items that you got. Different perks that you get. I mean, this is basically leveling up your character as you go. Notes down here. Here is your character dashboard that tells you, well, like this is, well, that's your wounds. I forget what that is up there. But how many cards you get to start with. There's no dice in this game. It's all done with cards. That's about your character. Tokens to help you play. What is this? For owners of the standee edition. So I guess that's an alternate standee for your character. Here are your character's action cards right here. And these are the ones that you can upgrade with stickers. So like those stickers, this one has some type of regeneratability right here. And then battle cards as well. So these are action cards right here. And then these are your attack cards, basically. It's been so long since I played. Yeah, so you get your, it is really neat. It is really neat. Pick one, James says, man, how cool is that? A little surprise character package when you sit down to play. Yeah, I know. It's really neat. Because the reason you need all these cards is because there is no dice. So there is still randomization in the game, but it's all done through these cards rather than with dice, which allows, the really neat part about that is it allows that each character to be very different rather than just attack with certain dice or whatever that everybody uses. Everybody builds out a completely different action deck, and everybody's attack deck is going to be built out differently as well. So like I'll show you if you haven't ever seen. So these mini cards are your attack deck. And I don't remember exactly everything about how to play. I would have to relearn. But like +1, +1, +3, +3, +1, +2. This has something to do with the energy infusion of the board. That looks like some kind of +1 heal self or something. I don't know what that means. But you don't use all of these cards either. I forget how you assemble your starting deck. Actually, there may be a starting attack deck assembly in the game rules. I think that I may have done that wrong one of the times that I played, because I was like, wait a minute, we seem way too powerful, and I think I was using too much stuff. I think there's a starting attack deck, but then you're going to end up manipulating your attack deck as well as your action cards. And like I said, you can even end up adding stickers to your cards and things like that to make your cards more powerful. So a huge advantage of this game, of course, with the cost of a lot more components and complexity, but one huge advantage is that your character is very different from other characters. And you can customize your character a lot. And because that means because you've got all these different cards and all of these like much smaller kinds of increments with things, you can be more custom than you can with something just like a die roll when everything goes up in a big chunk or something, because you can subtly manipulate all of those cards based on new stickers on them and all of that. Like these are the enhancements. So this looks like giving something regenerate or something. Just subtle changes which allow you, rather than huge steps up, level 1, boom, level 2, level 3, these large step ups, you get little things a lot, I guess. Little things that you can change about your character and make them different. And then your character does retire. I remember, at least in Gloomhaven, and I guess it's similar in Frosthaven, your character has a certain goal. And then once your character has achieved their goal, then the character retires, and then you pick a new character. So the characters, you're going to cycle through different characters over the course of the campaign. Characters will come in, accomplish their objectives, and then go on and retire. I also like it. Now, one of the things I liked about this game as well, Gloomhaven, is that it has a mechanic that incentivizes non-optimal play. Now, and I think that's an important component of these games as well, because that's one of my complaints about Hero Quest. This game does have a time limit to it, as far as time as in time to play the game. You can't just sit around and use a whole bunch of turns unproductively, because there's a counter with your action cards. I forget exactly how that works, but every turn you've got to be pressing forward. Otherwise, you're gonna lose the dungeon because you ran out of health. You ran out of, it's like energy. I think it was energy or something. You run out of energy and then you fail the game. So that also means that, like, if there's treasure that you didn't pick up, you need to pick up the treasure as you're going forward, because if you end up going deeper into the dungeon, you're just not going to be able to come back out and pick up the treasure. So there'll be treasure out there, and if you want it, you need to pick it up as you go, but then you're going to use time in order to pick up treasure as well. Like I said, I know I'm a bit vague here, but I remember that. So that keeps you from playing optimally, because you always have to keep moving forward. But also, not only does your character have an overall objective that's going to end up, they've got to accomplish, and then over the course of several games and then retire, but you also have an objective, a personal objective for that dungeon. So each player has a personal objective, and if they can do that personal objective, which is secret and hidden from all the other players, they get an experience bonus or something like that, some type of XP bonus or something bonus for their character if they accomplish that task. And that also keeps all of the players from playing completely optimally, because if you've got all of your players together, then you can say, oh, no, you do this, and this will be the optimal way to take this out. But then sometimes it comes around to another player and they will do something that's non-optimal, right? They'll do something non-optimal. Like, why are you doing that? No, you're supposed to go over here, do this. No, I'm going over here. I really need to open this door, or I really need to attack this monster, or I really need to collect this treasure or something, which is non-optimal because it may be their personal objective. And that character is kind of looking out for themselves, trying to accomplish their personal objective to get themselves a little bit of extra XP at the end of the game, which prevents optimal play. So I wish I got to play Gloomhaven more, but because when I played it, I really enjoyed it for that reasons. It does do those things, a lot of things that I'm looking for, very well. Now, at the cost of great complexity, lots of complexity and lots of character components. You have to really get into it. In fact, one of the only critiques that I've heard, like, assuming you like games like this, which obviously I do, and a lot of us around here do, assuming you like games like this, one of the only complaints that I have heard is you might as well just play Dungeons and Dragons. That some people were like, by the time I go to all the trouble to get all this board game stuff out, and they say, we might as well just sit down and play Dungeons and Dragons, which I understand. I understand that critique. So this is the most advanced campaign dungeon crawling kind of team of adventurers game that I know of. How many characters are in the base game? It's got like 20 or so, right? That's a lot of player games, if you're so inclined. Yeah, it's something like 15 or 20. Yeah, or 12, but a lot. It's got like, they're like 15 or 12 or 15 different character folios like this in the Gloomhaven game. So this one gives you another one. So yeah, there's a lot of game in Gloomhaven. So I'm not going to open up this because we don't want to spoil something. I don't even know what those are. Okay, we'll look over here. Over here, though, I'll open these and show you what these are in case you haven't seen. So these are equipment cards right here. These I know are equipment, and they're all numbered. That's why you don't shuffle them. So they're all numbered. So if you need to find card, oh, that's card 157. If the rule book calls for 157 or something, you can shuffle through and just find it. So don't take all of your cards and shuffle them. Some people put them in like these mini card size, so like sleeves, so they can go through and find. So like this is Ring of Duality. There we go. Ring of Duality. After performing the top action of any ability card, you may immediately perform the bottom action of the same card. This item cannot be used if both actions would trigger a lost card icon. So that's the lost card icon. So that guess this is used once or something. Minor Antidote. The next 3 times you would gain poison, prevent the condition. Another Minor Antidote. See, each card is numbered, so Minor Antidote's in here twice. That's card 1 of 2 Minor Antidote and 2 of 2 Minor Antidote. The amount of production, management of the production of this game must be incredible. I mean, as somebody who has put together and designed board games and published them and had them, manufactured, the coordination on the graphic design side of this would be just huge. I mean, this game is a monumental undertaking, but then also to make sure the manufacturer gets everything right. Incredible. Curse Ward Armor. You are immune to curse even if this item is spent. On the next 3 sources of damage from attacks targeting you, gain 1 shield. With other, like this one needs to be exhausted. It's like tapped. Now, I believe this over here. James says, shut up and sit down and review Gloomhaven when it was first released. They always do very honest game reviews, exclusively board games, and the balance of the review was pretty positive. And they typically do not like big box Kickstarter games. I don't know if I've actually probably have watched their review of Gloomhaven, but it's been a long time. I mean, it's definitely for a certain type of gamer, and they know their audience, which is incredible. So this is the way the AI works. So how do you run the monsters? And I forget, all of the details here. But these cards are for your monster AI. Tracker, Savage. So like, it's something like those are tracker cards. Those are the cards that tell you how the tracker is going to move. Savage, Ashblade. See, we got Ashblade. So also on the table, you would, so it says that on the back too. You would have these, if you know you're going to be playing against Ashblades and you're going to be playing against Savages. When the Savage comes up, then you turn over the top card of the Savage. And remember, we did have, Elite. So orange means Elite. So we do have the white guys on the white standee bases and the elite guys on the yellow bases. So if you're trying to control a savage guy, this normal savage guy, just your ordinary run-of-the-mill ordinary savage guy, you would move that person up to their move score -1, I guess in this case, and then make a normal attack against someone. And there are rules for how they move, like to the nearest hostile player and things like that. I have to look up the AI rules because they're the way that you move. You can't move them back and away from you. They're going to move in a specific way, but in this case, is move and make a melee attack. So this is like it's just like Elite makes an attack like against 3 hexes, I guess, maybe. I'd have to remember all of it, but anyway. This tells you what that particular monster. So every different monster type has a different AI deck. Yeah, normal guy and savage guy. The Guy brothers, right? So that also that gives you a different kind of AI and monster actions for every different type of monster out there on the board. So this is like the tracker right here. The tracker will move -1, make a melee attack or a ranged attack +1. I guess that's or. I don't know. But we got +1. So that says ranged attack +1. And then the result and then results in immobilization for the target. So fighting different types of monsters feels different. And then there's also special actions for the real special monsters, not even the elite ones, but something like that commander or something like the boss at the end of the dungeon. It'll have special rules for its AI, and like if its special move or special attack comes up, then it tells you how to adjudicate that in the actual scenario book. So everything feels different, again, at the cost of a lot of complexity here. Sable says, you can't call them savages anymore. That's not politically correct. Just because they want to kill and eat you doesn't make them savage. Well, that's what it says. The savages. Let's see. So it gives you new monster cards for those monsters. You need those to play the monsters. And then also, now what am I going to do to keep these from going everywhere in the... I'll get some kind of bag or something. Let's see. So here we go. Let's take a look at this book. How much we got a little bit of time left. So let's take a look at what is inside this rule book and see what it adds. Rule book and scenario guide. I said I have to remember, but let's still tell us what everything is. Read this first. All right, let's read this first. The most important part of this expansion is the Esther Diviner contained within the character tuck boxes. She is immediately unlocked for use in any normal Gloomhaven campaign. Add the appropriate city and road event cards included in the box for unlocking her and their respective decks now. Oh, so I guess this right here. This, maybe they're inside that. Add the appropriate road event cards included in the box for unlocking her to the respective decks now. Players also have the option, if they have completed scenario number 51, to delve into this new campaign presented in the book. Oh, so you can just, if you just want to play with this character, you can just integrate this into the game, integrate the character into the game before you even go on to the scenario. So that's cool. So I don't know how many scenarios were in Gloomhaven. Maybe it's if you've completed scenario 51, this kind of goes off in a new direction. There's a lot that I like here, but like, for instance, I would never get to play this with my nephews. It would be too much. For now, it's too much. Lope says, is this considered an RPG or a board game? I like Mike's answer. Mike says the answer is yes. Yeah, I would say it's a board game, but it is as close to an RPG as you're going to get, and it still be just a board game, I think. So the components it includes with, okay, 1 rulebook scenario guide, got it. Character miniature, got it. 1 character board, got it. 28 character ability cards, those big cards with the character ability cards. Okay, attack modifier cards. Those are what those are called. Attack modifier cards, those little mini cards. Character tuck boxes, 1 character pad, character tokens, rift overlay tiles, 6 condition tokens, 23 monster standees, 24 monster ability cards, 7 monster stat sheets, 2 monster stat sleeves, 12 plastic stands, 20 item cards, 2 random dungeon cards, okay, 2 sealed envelopes, 8 revised character cards, 4 revised player references, 31 event cards, road, city, and rift, and then a sticker sheet. New rules. Focus. Some monster abilities specify the monster finds a focus following criteria. Oh, some monster abilities specify the monster finds a focus following criteria other than whoever is closest. So yeah, so I guess you determine who the monster is going to focus on, whether they're going to attack or cast a spell or do a ranged attack or whatever. So they focus on somebody different than the closest one. Mike says it's a bit of both, right? An RPG board game, whereas Hero Quest is level 1. This is probably around level 5. Yeah, I agree. So I'm thinking I want like a level 3. I mean, this is great, but I guess if Hero Quest is level 1 and this is level 5, I need a game that's about a level 3. So regenerate, this pink thing, this pink hand kind of looks like beaming out here, is a regenerate. This is a positive condition. If a figure has regenerate, it performs heal oneself action at the start of each of its turns, even if the figure has a stun token. If the figure suffers any damage, the regenerate token is removed and the damage continues normally. If a figure has both a wound and regenerate at the start of a turn, the regenerate happens first, removing the old wound token and healing normally. Rifts. Rifts are permanent overlay tiles the diviner can create. Although the effects of a rift ability usually last until the end of a round, any rifts created with that ability remain on the map to be activated by future rift abilities as well. A hex with a rift is not considered empty, nor is it considered negative. The diviner can only have 5 rifts on the map at once. If a 6th were to be placed, remove one of the others. Teleport. Teleport is an ability that transports a figure to a specific location without evaluating, moving through all of the hexes between where the figure currently is and where it's going. However, it's not considered a move ability and thus can be performed while the figure has immobilized. It is not inhabited by enemies. It is also not inhabited by enemies, walls, obstacles. Oh, inhibited. I was like inhabited. Oh, inhibited. It is also not inhibited by enemies, walls, obstacles, or any terrain type when evaluating its path. The hex a figure teleports to must be a valid hex for that figure to occupy, and any effects of entering that hex will trigger normally, such as traps, hazardous terrain, or special character abilities. A figure cannot teleport into an unrevealed room. We've got wall overlays. An overlay tile with a white border is considered a wall. All hexes that the tile occupies are walls, which function exactly like the walls of the border of the tile map. It cannot be moved through even with a flying or jump and block all line of sight. They are not considered obstacles. Mixed elements. An element symbol showing the art of 2 different elemental icons can be considered to be either one of the elements or either one of the elements, but not both. Okay, so I guess you choose which element. That's the element that comes up on the game board. Hey, TSL Frontman. Good morning. Good to see you. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. And then, it says down here, event requirements. Some event cards may require requirements similar to scenarios. If a party does not meet the requirements of an event deck, simply draw another one and shuffle the card with the unmet requirements back into the top 3 cards of the deck. Enhancements, base -1 enhancement cost, teleport 40 gold, other base. So do I have a sticker over here with that on it? We got enhancement stickers for teleport and for regenerate. Regenerate can be placed on any main ability line that affects allies or yourself. But then it says right here, stop, halt, do not proceed through the rest of this book until you have completed scenario 51. What's the back here say? Monster artificial intelligence reference. So, okay, so this is how we move monsters. Initial check. Check for an attack ability and conditions. If monster is disarmed or does not have an attack ability, it behaves as if a melee attack targeting a single character. If a monster is disarmed or does not have an attack ability, it behaves as if a melee attack targeting a single enemy was possible. An immobilized monster ignores any move abilities. A stunned monster cannot find focus, will not move, and ignores all instructions on its ability card. 1.2. Check for movement path. Measure a path to an unoccupied hex from which an attack can be performed. Line of sight to a target required. All identified hexes are attack hexes. If no such path exists, the monster cannot find focus and will not move or attack. So over here. I guess we're talking about this skeleton right here. I guess this guy in blue must be a hero. The guys in red are bad guys. And I guess that green thing is an obstacle. It looks like a rock. Sable says, seems like a lot of bookkeeping. It reminds me of Twilight Imperium. I do love Twilight Imperium too. Twilight Imperium. It's you got to have the right people, and they got to be willing to be in it for a while. I mean, like 10-hour game, but man, Twilight Imperium is so good too. The difference between this and Twilight Imperium is that Twilight Imperium is, well, you're playing this whole Star Empire in Twilight Imperium, and you're playing a single character in an adventuring party in this. But Twilight Imperium is one-off. You sit down and you play for 10 or 12 hours, and you have a fantastic game. It's not a campaign kind of thing. Okay, then you find focus. That game basically requires you take over at least 6 square feet. Yeah, I know. No, that's one that I would also love to do an improvement. Back when I was in the workshop doing making 3D components for board games, it would be really fun to do a large 3D Twilight Imperium board. Can you imagine that with like the hexes that look like stars, and then actually have circles for the planets sticking up on the table, and then having like the ships on stands as well, so they look like they're flying around the galaxy? That would be so good. Twilight Imperium is so good. We used to run campaigns of that in Axis and Allies. They'd last for weeks, lots of house rules. And I love Axis and Allies too. I've got both the Europe and Pacific games that go together to create the entire world. So you can play both of them at once. Of course, there's just Axis and Allies that is the whole world, but you can play Europe and Pacific together, which I've done. I've only done that once, but it was fun. So finding focus. The monster finds a attack square and focuses on a single enemy. In this case, the one with an eyeball on it. Applying the following priority list. 2.1. Yellow hex with a movement path that will trigger the fewest negative hexes possible. An attack hex with shorter movement path. And so that's how you just, like I told you, that was how you decide what it attacks. So this is what you're going through. Identify all potential movement paths. First of all, you will do the movement path that will trigger the fewest negative hexes. And then after that, the shortest movement path. Enemy in closer proximity to the position of the monster. Enemy, and then after that, your tiebreaker is enemy earlier in initiative order. Rules for initiative order for figures with identical initiative value. Non-leading ability cards break ties. If still tied player decides, summons active directly before their controller. Summons activate directly before their controller. Characters performing a long rest activate last. Characters activate before monsters. Michael says, and people claim the hero system champions is too crunchy. Then 3, execute monster abilities. Execute monster's ability from top to bottom. For move abilities, 1, the monster must end its movement with the shortest path to the attack or will not move. 2, the monster chooses a movement path that will trigger the fewest negative hexes possible. 3, the monster chooses a yellow hex to attack and its focus and as many additional enemies as possible. 4, the monster moves away from its focus until it performs a ranged attack without disadvantage. I guess so if you're trying to shoot something with a bow and you're too close, your monster is focused on something that's too close, it will back away before the attack. If a monster can move to multiple attack hexes to attack its focus, it will prioritize an attack hex that allows attacking the focus without disadvantage, attacking as many additional monsters or enemies as possible, applying focus and attack rules based on the position of the monster before movement, and then attacking as few additional enemies with disadvantage as possible. 6, a muddled monster, muddled is a condition, a muddled monster will not move to lose its adjacency disadvantage. Elemental infusion consumption is performed by the first monster of the type activated, and then complete group gains any related benefits. So instead of that's how you get around having a game master. So instead of having a game master or Zargon in Hero Quest, all of the monsters move according to this AI. These are the routines and subroutines all of these monsters run in order to adjudicate the game. I mean, it's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun. And actually, you know, as people always say, once you actually have figured this out, figuring out where a monster would move to and who a monster attacks is easier than it might look when you're trying to go through all of the monster subroutines. So that's what all the scenarios look like. So when you're setting up a scenario, introduction to scenario, special rules for scenario, what different types of terrain and whatever is set up, that's what a scenario looks like. Hey, Vision. It is fun. It is fun. I can vouch for that. All right. Well, I hope everyone enjoyed that and is having a fantastic new year. All right, we're going to try to do 2 weeks of intense work to get the new year started off right. This has to be a big year. This has to be a big year. That's Gloomhaven Forgotten Circle. Please do hit the like button if you're here. Yeah, thank you. Please do like the video while you're here, and subscribe if you're newly found to us. And then also tonight, I will see everybody tonight because we're going to be looking at Terminator 2 or looking at Terminator 2. We're going to be talking about Terminator 2 with Doug and Retro Nerd Girl on Table Talk tonight, and then also sign up for the coffee shop if you would like to play board games with us. Sign up. We're trying to get that underway. So everybody, have a wonderful day. Go forth, be creative, be constructive, and grind on.